Hi guys, we are working on our 4.7a notes. Remember, we're using isosceles and equilateral triangles. And for this lesson, we are going to be talking specifically about the equilateral triangles. So let's pause right here and move on to page 2 or page 10 it is in your notes. I will be back with you in a second. Hold on. All right, so we are now on page 10. The first thing we're going to do here is write down our definition of an equilateral triangle. Remember, equilateral means that we have equal lateral for sides, so we have 3 equal sides. And then think about what we know about triangles, that the big angles are opposite of big sides and the small angles are opposite of small sides. And in this case, if we have 3 equal sides on our triangle, and I'm going to mark them all with ticks, that would mean that all 3 angles have to all be the same. So if we have 3 equal sides, then we have to have 3 equal angles. Now, if we think about that even further, we know that there are 180 degrees total in a triangle. And if we divide that by 3, we're going to get 60 degrees in each angle. That always works out. Every equilateral triangle is going to be 60, 60, and 60. All right, so right up here, things to think about. What do you know about the sides of the triangle? They are all equal. What do we then know about the angles of the triangle? They will all be equal. In fact, 60 degrees, every single one of them. All right, now again, we're going to pause. We're going to move on to the practice problems just so you can take a peek at how easy they actually are. I'll be back with you in a second. All right, so now we're down here on our practice problems. And the first thing that I notice about this problem when I look at A is I notice that I have equal angle marks in all 3 corners. So I look there and I have the same mark in all 3 corners. So for this question, I know that all 3 angles are the same. That means all 3 sides are the same. For this question, they ask us to find the value of x and y and the perimeter, which remember is the distance all the way around. That means that x must be 6 and y must be 6, and the perimeter is 6 plus 6 plus 6. Woo! That is 18 total. All right, remember that is only good if it's equilateral. All of them are the same. All right. Let's look at question D. And this question also, again, has the equal angle marks in all of the corners. I have this mark right here, and this mark right here, and this mark right here. They are all the same. And so that tells me that this side and this side and this side are all the same. Now the tricky part of this is you have to figure out which ones to put together. And when you look at this, it would make sense that the x problems go together. So I know that those 2 yellow ones have to be the 2 that go together. And then that y part is going to be something that we're going to handle here in just a second. So for this one, I know that 5x minus 6 has to equal 3x plus 2. If I solve that, Remember, we can do whatever we want. I always like to plus when I can. So I'm going to plus 6 to both sides because they have the minus there. And so I have 5x and 3x plus 8. And then I have to get the x's together, so that means that 3 is going to come back. So I'm going to minus 3x. 2x equals 8. And the last step, oops, not divide by 8. I have to divide by 2. So I get x equals 4. Now, how do I put that together? Well, I do know that 6y minus 10 has to equal either one of those, but I have to figure out the actual number of that. And so I can plug my 4 into any spot that I'd like, and I'm going to choose to plug it in right there because those numbers just look the smallest. I happen to think that they look the easiest. So I have 3 times 4 plus 2, because remember this x is 4. That gives me 12 plus 2, which is 14. This side is 14. That means this side is 14, which also means this side is 14. So I'm going to do 6y minus 10 equals 14. And again, I'm going to solve that. Plus 10. Remember, that's a minus. I dropped my pen there. Plus 10. 6y equals 24. Divide by 6. And I get y equals 4. Now, they do not always come out the same, but it turns out in this case, both x and y were 4. All right, we're going to pause again, and I'm going to jump down to the last question. Hold on. All right, for this last question on the equilateral triangle page, we want to look at this and figure out exactly what we have going on, because now we're going to take the isosceles triangles and the equilateral triangles and mix them all together, and you have to find out what parts are actually equal. So it says for this question, find the value of x and the measure of each angle. So in this question, the things that I notice that I have these two sides that are 13, and I have this side over here that's 10. That tells me that this is actually an isosceles triangle, not an equilateral triangle. So when you have the two equal sides, what I want you to do is find that base. This is the one that's different. And remember, that is the one that has the equal angles. So in this case, I know that the 7x plus 5 has to equal the x plus 47. So I have 7x plus 5 equals x plus 47. All right. Why do I have that again? Because the kind of triangle that I have in this problem is isosceles. Oops. Let me write that better. Because we only have two equal sides. Once you get into this, you have to really pay attention to the information that is given to you. The other thing that we could do in this problem is we could always remember that there are 180 degrees total in all triangles. And I already have 72 in one of the corners. So if I take 180 minus 72, that leaves me with 108 degrees. Now think about this. That 108 degrees is really for both of the other two angles. So that does not mean that 7x plus 5 equals 108. That is not what that means. that means 7x plus 5 is equal to 54 because I have to put half of the 108 in one corner and half of the 108 in the other corner. So for this problem, I could write 7x plus 5 equals 54, or I could write x plus 47 equals 54. And you should just do the one that looks easy to you. We never want you to do the hardest work. We want you to do the easiest work so that you understand the material. All right? So remember, this lesson was all about the equilateral triangle with 3 equal sides and 3 equal angles, all of those angles being 60 degrees each. If you have any questions, you make sure you talk to your teacher. Good luck, and we'll see you later. Adios.